He said his cousin was visiting. I brought over snacks. His cousin was wearing one of my hoodies. She froze. He stammered. I just said, wow. Family resemblance is wild. My mom died the year before, and everything just fell apart. I left my job in Omaha, packed what I could in the back of my car, and drove until I landed here. Didn't have a plan. I just knew I needed out. I got a job as a vet tech at a local clinic. The pay was average, the hours were long, but I didn't care. I wasn't living, not really, just existing. Then I met Darren. He worked across from the coffee shop I went to every morning before my shift. Big guy, beard, always wearing worn-out jeans and work boots covered in sawdust. He had that easy kind of charm, funny, flirty, not too much too fast. He'd make little jokes while we waited in line, ask me about my day, offer to walk me to my car if it was raining. It felt natural. Normal. I needed that. We started dating a few weeks later. It started simple. Weekend drinks, dinner at hole-in-the-wall taco spots, lazy Sunday mornings. He wasn't perfect, but he was steady. After a few months, I met his friends. Not his family, though. That was always complicated, he said. His folks lived in Lubbock. He'd talk about them sometimes, especially his cousin Jenna. We were close as kids, he'd say. She's basically like a sister. I didn't question it. By the time we hit our first year, we were practically living together. I had a drawer at his place. He had one at mine. I knew his favorite takeout orders. He knew which side of the bed I hated sleeping on. I thought we were building something. Then came that Saturday night. He texted me that morning. Said Jenna was coming into town for a couple days and he'd be tied up. I didn't think much of it. Figured I'd be nice, swing by with snacks and a bottle of wine for them to catch up over. Maybe stay for a bit. I grabbed some of that soft cheese he liked, a box of crackers, a 6-pack of IPA, and one of those overpriced candles from Target because I remembered him saying Jenna liked citrus scents. I was trying to be thoughtful. I knocked on his door around 7. It took too long for him to answer. When he finally opened the door, he looked like he'd seen a ghost. Hair a little messy, shirt wrinkled, and eyes wide like he'd just got caught doing something he shouldn't have. Hey, I said, holding up the grocery bag. Thought I'd drop some stuff off for you guys. He didn't smile. Just stepped aside awkwardly. Oh, yeah. Cool. And then she walked out of the kitchen. Long dark hair, bare feet, holding a glass of wine, and wearing my hoodie. Not just any hoodie. My favorite. A faded burnt orange UT Austin pullover I'd had since college. It had a bleach mark on the cuff and my initials inside the tag, sewn in by my mom. There was no mistaking it. She froze. Her face went white. She looked from me to Darren, like she was waiting for him to say something. Anything. He didn't. I could hear my heart in my ears. I wanted to scream. I wanted to break something. But I didn't. I just stared straight at her, then at him. Wow, I said, my voice calm and flat. Family resemblance is wild. Then I turned and walked out. No yelling. No crying. Not there. Not in front of them. I sat in my car for 10 minutes. Just breathing. I didn't call anyone. I didn't even drive home right away. I went to a gas station, sat in the back of the parking lot, and stared at the steering wheel. I was humiliated. And the worst part? I felt stupid. Stupid for trusting him. Stupid for making room for him in my life. Stupid for ignoring the little signs, the times he was too tired to talk, the weird texts he'd delete, the weekend trips that didn't line up. But I wasn't going to cry over someone like that. I was going to get even. He didn't know it yet, but Darren had just stepped into a slow, quiet storm. I didn't sleep that night. I laid in bed staring at the ceiling, going over every moment we'd spent together. Every time he looked me in the eye and told me he loved me. Every little lie I'd missed. I replayed his voice in my head, trying to figure out where things turned. But nothing stood out. That's what made it worse. The next morning, I went back to his place. Not to see him. To get my stuff. I used the spare key he gave me, one he clearly forgot about. He wasn't home. I knew his work schedule. Sundays he always went in early for a delivery run. I walked in, locked the door behind me, and started gathering my things. The drawer I kept there. The books on his shelf. My skincare stuff in his bathroom. The extra phone charger. My favorite mug. Everything. And I took the hoodie. It was in the laundry basket. Still smelled like her perfume. I stuffed it in my bag without a second thought. But I didn't leave just yet. I sat at his kitchen table and opened his laptop. I knew his password. It was our anniversary date, something that used to make me smile. Now it made my stomach turn. I wasn't even planning to snoop. Not at first. I just wanted to see if he left anything logged in. And he had. His email, his Facebook, and a hidden folder on his desktop called Invoices, which was not invoices at all. It was screenshots, photos, messages, dozens of them, different women, not just Jenna. Some of the messages were from months ago, some just days before I walked in on them. He was running a full side life, different versions of himself, different lies. I was one of many. I didn't know if Jenna knew. I didn't know if she cared. But I knew I wasn't special. Not to him. I had been convenient. A part of his little web. And that's when the cold part of me kicked in. I wasn't just going to disappear. I started small. That Monday, I called his job. Posed as a customer. Claimed Darren had taken my money for a custom dresser and ghosted me. Used a fake name and email. Then another. Then another. Left bad reviews on every platform I could find. Reported his business number for spam calls. It was a slow drip of chaos. Then I got bold. I sent a group message on Facebook to all the women I found in his email. I told them everything. Shared screenshots. I made sure to blur out anything sensitive. I wasn't there to hurt them. I was there to show them the truth. The fallout started fast. Some of them thanked me. Others blocked me. One told me she was pregnant. That part almost made me back off. But I didn't. I found Jenna's Instagram. She had gone private, but I had already taken screenshots of her profile. There were pictures of her and Darren going back months. Cozy. Smiling. Hashtags like #myworld and #luckygirl. I knew she wasn't his cousin. At best, she was just as dumb as I had been. But I wasn't done yet. I made a burner account. Followed her, messaged her. Just one line, "You looked better in my hoodie." She didn't respond. But she read it. And then I waited. About a week after I exposed Darren, things got quiet. Too quiet. I thought maybe I'd scared him enough. Maybe he was laying low, licking his wounds, or trying to fix things with one of the girls he hadn't completely burned yet. Either way, I went back to my normal life, or tried to. Work was steady. I kept my head down. But every time my phone buzzed, I'd get that rush in my chest. Half hoping it was him. Half hoping it wasn't. Then it happened. I was at work late one Thursday night when the clinic's front desk phone rang. I almost let it go to voicemail, but something made me pick up. "Hi, this is Lakewood Animal Care," I said. There was a pause. Then a woman's voice, low and shaky. "You don't know me," she said. "But I need to talk to you. About Darren." I stepped into the back office and closed the door. "Go on." Her name was Heather. She was from San Marcos, about 45 minutes south. She said she'd been seeing Darren for nearly a year. Thought she was the only one. Found out about me when he left his laptop open while she was in the shower. "He told me you were crazy," she said. "That you were an ex who wouldn't let go. That you hacked him." I didn't believe it. Not really. But then I saw your name on that group message. She was crying. "I'm late," she whispered. 5 weeks. I don't know what to do. I didn't know what to say. Part of me wanted to hang up. Walk away. Not my problem. But another part of me remembered how it felt to be blindsided. To feel like you'd lost your grip on reality. "I'm sorry," I said. I really am. But you have to get away from him. That's the only advice I've got. She thanked me. Said she was going to her sister's. That she was done. I believed her. But that call stirred something else. I thought I'd uncovered all of it. I thought I'd finished him off. But Darren had way more going on than I'd even realized. And if Heather hadn't found my message, she'd still be with him. Still thinking he was just a misunderstood guy with a jealous ex. That's when I decided it wasn't enough to ruin his love life. I was going to ruin his image, his reputation, his little business, his friend group, his carefully built facade. I created a blog, anonymous at first. Simple layout, just facts, screenshots, dates, photos blurred where needed. A full timeline of Darren's lies. How he used women. How he built different lives in different cities. How he manipulated us. It wasn't slander. Everything had receipts. It spread faster than I thought it would. Within a month, it was getting shared on local forums, group chats, Facebook posts. One of his old coworkers emailed me a thank you note. Said she always knew something was off about him, but couldn't prove it. Then one day, the blog got taken down. Terms of service violation, the email said. Someone had reported it for harassment. I knew who, but I wasn't stopping. I reposted it on a new domain. Bought the web address darrenthedisaster.com. Put it all back up, cleaner, tighter, meaner. I added more now. Messages from other women who'd reached out to me since. We formed a network, in a way. A quiet alliance of the hurt and the used. And then Darren broke his silence. He showed up at my clinic. It was a Friday. Busy day. We had 3 surgeries scheduled and a dog in recovery from a car accident. I was in the back checking vitals when Maria, our receptionist, came rushing in. Hey, she said, nervous. There's a guy at the front. Says he knows you. He won't leave. I didn't have to ask. I knew. I walked out to the lobby, keeping my shoulders square. There he was, Darren. He looked rough. He'd lost weight, eyes dark under his hat, hair overgrown. He wasn't smiling. We need to talk, he said. I didn't blink. No, we really don't. He stepped closer. You don't get to destroy my life and hide behind a keyboard. I lost 3 clients this week. My name's all over the internet. You need to stop. I laughed, just once. You should have thought of that before you gave my hoodie to your side piece. His jaw clenched. You made your bed, I said. Now sleep in it. Alone. He looked like he wanted to scream. But instead, he leaned in and said quietly, You think this makes you better than me? No, I said, holding his stare. But it makes me done with you. I turned my back and walked away. I thought that would be the end. It wasn't. A few days later, I got a call from the state board. Someone had filed a complaint against me, claimed I was violating HIPAA rules for pets, of all things. It was baseless, but it forced an investigation. For 2 weeks, I lived in fear I'd lose my license. I knew it was Darren. Just another way to get revenge. I didn't cave. I cooperated with the board. I handed over everything. My boss backed me, said I was one of the most ethical employees he had. The case was closed. I was cleared, but it left a scar. That was the moment I realized I'd let this go too far. I hadn't just exposed Darren. I'd become obsessed with taking him down. Every update to the blog, every email, every late night digging into his social media, I'd been fueled by pain. But it had started to change me, harden me. And maybe I didn't wear other people's hoodies, but I had made some bad choices too. I shut the site down that night. I didn't do it for him. I did it for me. Because revenge had become my full-time job. And I missed the parts of myself I'd buried to stay angry. A month later, I moved out of Austin. Took a job at a vet clinic up in Fort Worth. New start. New faces. I didn't date for a long time. I wasn't ready. Maybe I still wasn't. But I kept the hoodie. Not because I missed him. Because it reminded me what I'd survived. Darren faded. I heard from someone he moved back to Lubbock. His business never really recovered. Neither did his reputation. I didn't have to finish him off. He did that himself. And me? I sleep fine now. But I still remember her face, frozen in my hoodie. And I still remember the sound of his voice, stammering like a coward. And I remember what I said, calm as ever, family resemblance is wild. Damn right it was.